forgot to mute. There. Had TV on, but I forgot to mute it. Okay, there we go. This is completing a square, so let's refresh our memory on the steps. So completing a square, first step, divide everything by the number in front of the x squared. Step 2, take the number to the right side, the constant term. Step 3, take the number before the x, multiply it by 1/2, square it, and then add to both sides. And step 4, factor the left side. And step 5, use the square root property to solve for x. Now those are the steps we're going to be going through in these problems. So let's look at our first one here. 6a. And we got x squared plus 4x minus 2 equal to 0. Well, first step, divide everything by the number in front of the x squared. There's no number in front of the x squared. Second step, take the number to the right side, the constant term. So I'll take -2 over there. Take anything across the equals, the sign changes, so my -2 becomes a +2. Step 3, take the number before the x, which is 4. You'd kind of do this over on the side. You multiply it times 1/2 and you square it. Well, 4 times 1/2 is 2, and 2 squared gives us 4. And then we add that to both sides. So we got x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 2 plus 4, which gives us, this was right here, step 2. This right here, step 3. So we got x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 6. Step 4 is factor the left side. This factors as x plus 2 squared. It's very easy. Whatever number's right here, right before you squared, sign included, is always what goes right here. And step 5, use the square root property to solve for x. So square root property says we drop off the squared and we put a plus or minus square root around the other side. Now I'm going to take the 2 over. So that gives us x is equal to -2 plus or minus square root 6. And those are our answers. Let's look at the next one. We got x squared plus 2x plus 30 equals 0. Step 1, I divide everything by the number in front of the x squared. There is no number in front of the x squared. Step 2, take the number to the right side, take the constant term to the right side. So I take 30 over, it becomes a -30. Step 3, we take the number before x, which is 2, and we multiply it times 1/2 and we square it. Well, 2 times 1/2 is 1, and 1 squared gives us 1. And then we'll add that to both sides. So we got x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals -30 plus 1. And that gives us x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals -29. Step 4, factor the left side. This factors as x plus 1 squared equals -29. Again, that's the easiest step if you remember this little trick. Whatever number's right here, right before you square it, sign included, is what goes right here. And our fifth step, use the square root property to solve for x. So we'll drop off our squared, and we'll put a plus or minus square root around the other side. Now, a negative inside of a square root, that can come out as an I. So this gives us I square root of 29. I oftentimes will put it out in front of the square root so we won't get confused on whether is it underneath the square root or outside. But you can kind of do it however you want. Technically, standard form says it should be after it. Take the 1 over to the right side, becomes a negative 1. So we got negative 1 plus or minus I square root of 29. And that's our answer. Let's see, x squared minus 10x plus 1 equal to 0. Step 1, divide everything by the number in front of the x squared. There is no number in front of the x squared. Step 2, take the constant term, take the number to the right side. So take the 1 over, becomes a negative 1. Step 3, take the number before the x, which is a negative 10, multiply it times a half and square it. Negative 10 times a half is negative 5. Negative 5 squared is 25. And then add that to both sides. So we got x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals negative 1 plus 25. Negative 1 plus 25 gives us 24. And again, remember the trick on this next the next step, I guess. Whatever number's right here is what goes right here when I factor it. Sign included. And then last step, use square root property to solve for x. So we'll drop off our squared, and we'll put a plus or minus square root around the other side. Now again, no matter where you are in math, if you can simplify the radical before you go on, you should. 24, let's see, what is that? 2, 4, 8 times 3, 24. 24, we can bring out a pair of 2's as a single 2. And we're left with 2 times 3 inside, so that gives us 6. Remember, you can only bring it out if it's a pair. Then I'll take the negative 5. I should say a pair that matches. Negative 5 to the right side becomes a positive 5. And we get x is equal to 5 plus or minus 2 square root of 6. And that's our answer.